God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul." Not to frighten you, not to rush your heart, and not to create fear inside you, but to bring calm clarity to something that has quietly been affecting your peace. Sometimes strong words appear on the surface so your attention settles fully, yet beneath those words there is only guidance, protection, and care. This moment is not about panic. It is about awareness gently arriving at the right time. There are seasons in life when you feel a subtle heaviness without a clear reason. Nothing obvious seems wrong, yet your energy feels slightly drained, your thoughts feel more crowded, or your emotions feel unsettled after certain interactions. These sensations are not imagination. They are signals from within, asking you to pause and observe more closely. Observation, not confrontation, is where clarity begins. God does not reveal things to harm your heart. Revelation comes to protect your peace. The idea of an identity here does not mean a dramatic exposure or a painful confrontation. Often, what is revealed is not a person's name, but the truth of an influence. Sometimes that influence is a dynamic, a repeated pattern, or a connection that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. When awareness arrives, it does so quietly, like a light turning on in a room rather than a storm breaking the door. You may already sense what this message is pointing toward. It might show up as a realization that certain conversations leave you uneasy, or that some advice consistently pulls you away from your inner clarity. It could even be an internal voice shaped by past experiences that no longer serves you. Recognition does not require judgment. It only requires honesty with yourself. God's guidance never pushes you into fear or haste. Timing is mentioned not to pressure you, but to remind you to remain attentive rather than distracted. Attentiveness is different from urgency. Attentiveness is calm, grounded, and steady. It allows you to notice what feels right and what quietly disturbs your balance. When you notice, release becomes natural. You are not being asked to accuse, expose, or react emotionally. You are being invited to see clearly. Clear vision brings peace because it removes confusion. When confusion leaves, you no longer need to protect yourself aggressively. Your boundaries form naturally. Distance appears without effort. Choices become easier without explanation. If you feel a sense of calm while reading this, that calm is important. Calm is how divine guidance confirms itself when it respects your spirit. Fear agitates. Truth settles. What is being revealed to you will not overwhelm you, because you are ready to hold it gently and wisely. Let this message stay with you as quiet awareness. You do not need to force insight. Insight unfolds when your heart is steady enough to receive it. What is meant to step away will do so without chaos. What is meant to remain will feel supportive, respectful, and peaceful. Stay present. Stay grounded. Nothing here is meant to hurt you. Everything here is meant to free you. As this message continues, let your attention soften rather than tighten, because what is unfolding now is meant to stabilize you, not unsettle you. True spiritual clarity never rushes the heart, it steadies it. You are not being asked to search your memory aggressively or to suspect anyone around you. You are being invited into a quieter awareness where insight rises naturally, without effort or fear. There are moments when life feels heavier not because something dramatic is happening, but because something subtle has been pulling at your energy over time. It may show up as second-guessing yourself, feeling less confident after certain interactions, or sensing a quiet resistance inside when you try to move forward. These experiences are not random. They are signals asking for discernment rather than reaction. Discernment listens first. Reaction only confuses. The word identity in this message does not mean a sudden reveal that shocks your emotions. Often, what is revealed is a truth you already felt but did not yet trust. It could be the realization that some guidance you followed no longer aligns with your inner values, or that a recurring influence, external or internal, keeps you circling the same emotional ground. Recognition is gentle when it arrives at the right time. You may notice that your body responds before your thoughts do. A sense of ease when you imagine distance from certain situations. A lightness when you choose silence instead of explanation. A calm certainty when you decide not to engage. These responses are not avoidance. They are alignment. Alignment does not argue, it settles. Timing is mentioned here not to create pressure but to invite attentiveness. Attentiveness is the practice of noticing what. As this message moves deeper, what becomes clear is that revelation is not arriving to disturb your life, but to simplify it. Simplicity is often the first sign that clarity is taking root. When confusion fades, you do not feel dramatic relief. You feel quiet certainty. That certainty does not shout. It settles. And once it settles, it begins to guide your choices gently, without pressure or fear. You may realize that the influence being revealed was never about control or harm in an obvious way. Often, what affects us negatively does so through subtle erosion. Small doubts planted over time, repeated redirection away from your instincts, or constant emotional noise that slowly disconnects you from your inner confidence. When awareness arrives, it does not accuse. It restores perspective. Perspective allows you to look back and say, that no longer fits me, without resentment. It allows you to recognize that some connections, habits, or voices were never meant to stay as long as they did. And that realization does not create anger, it creates maturity. Maturity understands that growth sometimes requires quiet separation rather than confrontation. You may notice now that your emotional reactions are becoming slower, more thoughtful. Where you once felt compelled to respond immediately, you now feel comfortable pausing. That pause is powerful. It gives you space to choose wisely instead of reacting automatically. Wisdom often enters through patience rather than urgency. This part of the message is also about reclaiming authority over your own inner world. Authority does not mean dominance. It means ownership. Ownership of your thoughts, your energy, and your time. When you reclaim ownership, external influence weakens naturally. You do not need to fight it. You simply stop feeding it. There is no need to fear what is being revealed, because revelation does not come until you are strong enough to receive it without harm. If clarity is arriving now, it is because your inner foundation is stable. You are ready to see without being shaken. That readiness is something you have built quietly over time. You might also feel less interested in explaining yourself to others. This is not withdrawal, it is discernment. Discernment knows that not everyone needs access to your thoughts or your process. Privacy can be protective. Silence can be healing. You are allowed to grow without narration. As this understanding continues to form, trust that what is leaving your life is doing so because it has completed its role. Nothing essential is being taken from you. What remains will feel lighter, more aligned, and more respectful of who you are becoming. Stay grounded in this calm clarity. You do not need to rush toward conclusions. What is being revealed will continue to unfold gently, reinforcing peace rather than disrupting it. What comes next will feel like completion, not loss, but balance restored. As this message reaches its completion, allow everything you have absorbed to settle gently within you, without trying to rush meaning or force conclusions. What has been unfolding through these words is not exposure, not accusation, and not fear, but restoration of balance. Balance returns when clarity replaces confusion and when your inner authority quietly takes its rightful place again. You may now feel a deeper sense of calm than when you first began reading. That calm is not accidental. It is the sign that something no longer has permission to disturb your inner world. When influence fades, it does not collapse loudly, it loosens its hold. The mind becomes quieter. The heart feels steadier. Decisions no longer feel heavy. This is how completion feels when it respects you. At this stage, you might realize that the identity mentioned earlier was never meant to be a dramatic revelation. It was meant to guide you back to discernment. Discernment allows you to recognize what supports you and what subtly weakens you without blame or bitterness. You do not need to label anyone as wrong. You simply recognize alignment and misalignment, and you choose accordingly. This message affirms that you are no longer required to carry emotional weight that was never yours to hold. You are not responsible for managing other people's confusion, expectations, or unresolved patterns. Releasing that responsibility is not selfish. It is healthy. When you stop carrying what does not belong to you, your energy returns to where it is needed most, your own growth and peace. You may notice that your boundaries now feel natural instead of forced. You do not feel the urge to justify distance or explain your choices. That is maturity forming. Maturity does not announce itself. It simply acts in alignment. When something no longer fits, you step away quietly, without drama, without guilt, and without fear. As you move forward from this message, trust that clarity will continue to guide you gently. What remains in your life will feel supportive, respectful, and steady. What leaves will do so because its season has ended, not because something went wrong. Endings like these are not losses. They are refinements. Carry this understanding with you. You are not missing anything meant for you. You are gaining space, balance, and emotional freedom. What needed to be revealed has already begun revealing itself in the form of peace. If this message felt like it was meant specifically for you, write Amen in the comments and let your heart acknowledge this clarity. Please like, subscribe, and share this message with someone who may need the same calm guidance and reassurance today.